Talent is not the reason most musicians struggle financially. That's the uncomfortable part. Most musicians who stay broke aren't untalented. They're unstructured. And that's a very different problem. I've met incredible singers who can't pay rent, unbelievable producers who are constantly stressed about money, guitarists who could easily headline shows but still work random jobs they hate. It's not because they're bad. It's because talent and income aren't the same system. One of the biggest reasons musicians struggle is because they rely on one income stream. They want streaming to work, or touring, or one big breakthrough moment. But creative income doesn't work like that. If your entire career depends on one door opening, you're vulnerable. When that one thing slows down, everything collapses. And another reason is resistance to unglamorous work. Weddings aren't cool, corporate gigs aren't cool, teaching isn't cool, but stability is. A lot of musicians reject work that could stabilize their life because it doesn't fit their identity. They want to feel like artists, not service providers. And I get that. When I'm playing wedding gigs, when I'm playing corporate events, I'm not the center of attention, and I shouldn't be, which is okay, but it just doesn't feel like I'm there as an artist. It kind of feels like I'm there as a service provider, but it's okay. Musicians who survive long-term understand something simple. You can protect your art by letting other work support it. There's also the issue of seasonality. Music income is rarely consistent month to month. Summer can feel abundant, winter can feel empty. If you spend during the highs without preparing for the lows, you create artificial instability. Then you start believing the career itself doesn't work, when in reality the structure doesn't work. Another problem is confusing passion with business. Loving music is not a financial strategy. Posting songs is not a strategy. Hoping is not a strategy. A career requires logistics, relationships, reputation, positioning. It requires thinking long-term instead of emotionally reacting to short-term results. And then there's identity. Some musicians subconsciously reject earning money because they think it makes them less authentic. They romanticize struggle. But financial stress doesn't make art deeper. It makes decisions desperate. Musicians who build sustainable lives usually do one thing differently. They think in portfolios, multiple income streams, different types of clients, different types of work, some visible, some invisible, some glamorous, some practical. They don't wait for one big moment to validate them. They build stability piece by piece. And over time, that stability creates freedom. Talent matters, but structure determines survival. If you're trying to build a life in music, the real question isn't, am I talented enough? It's, is my system strong enough? That's the difference between constantly struggling and quietly sustaining a career for years. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.